Hello and welcome to another episode of the Total Scottish Football Podcast. Today I'm joined by Samuel,
Hello.
Caden,
You alright?
and Arwen.
Hi.
Arwen's a new face here. She is Samuel's girlfriend. We have briefly mentioned her before in a few episodes. Lovely young lady. Uh,
I'm blushing.
That was so uncomfortable. It feels like an advert.
I don't really have much to
100
say.
miles.
I was like, she's nice. The new face here is what it is. Today we're going to be talking about the European draws, some of the League Cup fixtures, what this means for St Johnstone and Callum Davison, and then we'll cover some of the most notable transfers since we last did a pod, because Jesus Christ, they are coming thick and fast. How's everyone doing? Everyone doing alright?
I'm alright. I'm doing pretty well. All the better for seeing you, Ryan.
You're making me blush.
Big flout, Samuel. Yeah, I'm not too bad as well, right? Not too bad at all.
One of the best things about this
Looking-
podcast is that we are now doing it for video, because this was actually supposed to be a kit video. We were going to rank everybody's kits, but Livingston, being the absolute
David
disgrace for football
Martindale.
club, it's David Martindale's fault.
David Martindale.
David
Very
Martindale's
loud.
fault.
He's had
Oh.
the kit man by the scruff of the neck. You don't release that kit.
He's saying I'm money laundering the old kit currently.
They're not releasing the kit until 5 days before the league starts. How absurd's that? And to be fair, their away kit looks like PSG's kit. It looks like a shit version of PSG's kit. And so they just got that big stripe down the middle and the sponsor right there. And I'm like, yeah, it's just a shit PSG kit. And no matter what kit they come out with, it could be the best kit in the league. It's going F. It's going the worst fucking kit there
There's
is.
one
Oh.
issue. There's one issue with our kit though. It's round about here, and it looks like the Livingston badge.
Anyway, let's get into the European draws. Today we got some of the draws for the Champions League, the Europa Conference League, Europa League as well, but they're irrelevant because we don't have teams in them. So Rangers drew Royal Union Saint Gilloise?
USG.
USG.
Yeah, we'll go for that.
They drew USG.
Belgium.
First leg will be played at the start of August. Obviously, a week later, they'll play the second leg. It's going to be away, then home at Ibrox. Of the three the Rangers could have gotten, this is probably the best. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not underestimating the power of USG, but they're again, to be fair, beaten Midgetland before, but there's no guarantee we'd get them.
Midgetland.
I can't say it properly. And then we've got, there was Monaco as well. Again, Monaco I wouldn't say I was particularly scared of, but they're probably the strongest team. But USG, I don't know particularly a lot about them, but Samuel seemed to whip out a couple of facts to me earlier in the group chat, so now I'm passing the buck. He's got to talk
Put
about
me on the
them.
spot.
Yeah.
Well, they're fallen giants of Belgian game who've recently had a resurgence under new ownership. They were in the fourth tier of Belgian football maybe 15 years ago, but they've received heavy investment with lots of scouting because they're part owned by Brighton's owner, who has sent a lot of players out on loan and used a similar model to one they use, which is scout players young, scout players who fit the team. So they research people's attitudes and how they would fit into the team, not just their abilities. And they put them in the team, and it's seen them do wonders. They signed Undav from a German third tier side, and he's their top scorer and has been outstanding for them so far. Even shouts at him getting maybe into the Germany squad. So, yeah, he's the one to look out for. If he's still there, I don't know if he's left since last season, but I feel like they are a very solid outfit. They should have won the league, but they bottled it and ended up finishing second because of the weird way the Belgian league works. After the final standings, I think it goes to playoffs, and they lost in the playoffs.
Yeah, I saw that it's like, had the points not been halved going into that second phase, that they probably would have won it. So they're not a joke.
Mm-hmm.
And as we spoke about you spoke about in the Scottish Football Deserves More Respect article, which is on the website, so you should probably check that out if you haven't read it. The Belgian league is lower ranked than Scotland. So it does, just that factor alone makes you go, well, we got to the Europa League final. Let's not bottle it this time. Let's get to the Champions League.
One comment I'd make, though, is as I also mentioned, they get more TV money than we do. They get about 90 million a year. We only get about 32.
One of the interesting things I saw about the Rangers in the Champions League this season is that when Rangers went undefeated in the Champions League in some point in the 90s, there was this run that they went on where they were undefeated before they got put out. The following season, they failed to qualify. Following the run to the UEFA Cup final in 2008, the following season, failed to qualify. And now, obviously, we've ran on this, got into the Europa League final. We had failed to qualify for the Champions League at the start of all of that. So it feels like time to break the curse. Is Gio the man to do it? There's a few questions, and it's coming thick and it's going to be coming really soon. Like, it's football starting up. Like Motherwell, who we're going to get onto, are playing on Thursday, and they're going to be playing Sligo Rovers. I think they could win, maybe.
They're a pretty decent side. They're Irish. They're John Mahon's old team, the Saints centre back. That's all I really know about them. They've not got a great European record. I think Motherwell have got a pretty safe tie there.
Yeah, see, the one thing is, I think that they could actually probably beat Sligo Rovers, but you also think that Graham Roberts is going to get sacked by Christmas, so they might crash out immediately. But even if they get through that, they're probably likely to play Sparta Prague, and Sparta Prague will be playing Viking, and reality is that Sparta Prague probably win that tie, and I don't see Motherwell getting past Sparta. I think that that's just maybe a step too high for them. I want to be wrong. I want as many Scottish teams in European group football as possible, but I'm not confident.
No chance to make it to the groups.
No
chance to make it to the groups.
After that, we've got Dundee United. They're going to be in the third qualifying round for the Conference League. They're going to play, was it Tuzla City, Bosnian team, or AZ Alkmaar, who made the last 16 of the Conference League last year before losing to Bodo Glimt. So, again, another tough tie. But I think that, to be fair, Dundee United probably have a better chance than any other team, than the other teams that could have gone into Europe this season. Hearts are obviously already in the group stages. But I think Dundee United could on the off chance at least get to the playoffs here. It depends if Jack Ross really links it up, and I'm not confident they will, because it's Scotland teams in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
Really, it all depends on if Charlie Mulgrew sticks the ball in the correct net this time and doesn't do a Sunderland again and stick it in his own net for 40 yards out. That is the real
goal.
That was one of the worst own goals I've ever seen. So bad.
AZ Alkmaar only lost to an inspired Bodo Glimt last season in the Europa League, Conference League. I feel like they'll just have too much. They've been in the Champions League before, Europa League group stage. They're a pretty solid European side.
It's the beauty of European football. You truly never know what's going to happen. Not really
Unless
much
you're
to
Saints,
say.
Then you know you'll lose.
Yeah, they'll probably lose. I mean, I'm not confident. I really want it to be 4 teams at least in Europe this season, but I'll take 3. I'm happy that we've at least got 3 in there. Not really much more to say on the European draws. It was more just we want to note them, say that they've happened, and that Motherwell and Dundee United are probably going to get put out because Scotland at its finest.
But there's always a chance.
You never know. That's the beauty of cup competitions, isn't it? Going on to
anyone can beat anyone.
That's true, and same again in the League Cup. Bonnyrigg Rose won, Hibs 4. I didn't see this match. None of us, I don't think, saw this match. But Samuel, you sent a screenshot into the chat that was like the craziest 3 minutes of football ever. And
3 goals scored in 3 minutes. I think there was I think a fan was maybe getting medical attention, so there was a lot of added time, and all of a sudden there was 3 goals in 3 minutes.
I only saw Aidan McGeady miss a penalty.
That was funny.
That was a horrendous penalty.
That was dreadful.
After them bigging him up being a player that's played at all levels of football and then smashing it wide against Bonnyrigg Rose, that is poor. And it doesn't make you confident in him going throughout the league season. But
no, I've said that before. I think that he's more just a name signing than a quality player signing. But again, another player who I think was just a name signing than a quality player. Signing. David Marshall got chipped.
Oh.
Outstanding goal. I really did enjoy it, but it's David Marshall getting chipped, and of course I've written down David Marshall getting chipped. Where have we seen that before? Because
last time he was lobbed, Ryan. Come on, cut him slack.
Exactly, lobbed, not chipped. There's a big difference. Lots of different letters.
You'd hope, as an ex-international keeper, that he at least would learn from mistakes. But this goal was just the exact same as
Yep.
what happened in front of Scotland. So
He's
Making the
past
same
it.
mistakes again.
Yeah,
It's
he's
very
past
Hibs, isn't it?
It is.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's past it.
he's not good enough to
To be
be
fair,
Hibs number one.
I wouldn't criticise him. He is only 5 years off his bus pass.
But the thing is, they'll make the money back they're going to spend on him through wages and that through shirt sales because he is a big
No,
name.
they will
The
not.
same-
You don't actually get money from your shirt sales. It all goes to the company. You just get sponsorship.
Well, that
What do you
depends.
So Nike,
I think you got a
they used to make
percentage.
your,
You do get a
like, they used to
percentage,
make
but
your
it's
shirt.
minimal. So it depends. So see
Yeah.
if you like, I'm pretty sure. See if you look at deals with places like Castor and that. So they have a different model where
Yeah.
like so not all the money goes to them, and there's like this more even split between them. So it's like there's normally like this middleman between kit suppliers, clubs, and like who deals with the two of them. And as far as I know, like Castor doesn't do that, so that's where you're seeing a lot of teams shift to them. Maybe their quality's not the greatest, but it's because you get more money out of being with them. But you
Is
still
that who produces?
on
They
your,
produce Rangers kits, eh?
yeah, they produce Rangers, and they've been shocking for a couple of years up until now. But I'm pretty sure that they'll at least get some money from his
It's
shirt
Joma
sales.
who makes Hibs. It's Joma who makes Hibs kits. No one really buys goalie tops. Well,
Yeah,
some
unless you're
people-
8-year-old me, you're not buying a goalie top, are you?
David De Gea was my first ever name on the back of a shirt.
For sure.
2012-13
Alan Manis was
season.
mine.
Bright green.
Alan
I actually
McGregor
got
probably for me.
I got lost at the
I
at Old
think I
Trafford.
got
I went,
the turquoise Manus one.
that's hot.
That's
I
a
had
good
Manus
kit.
top.
I
Well,
have that top as well.
Good kit.
I also had a Manus top, but I got lost at Old Trafford, and everyone else was wearing red, and I was wearing green, so that's the only reason they spotted me from the other area of the stand. It's quite funny. Anyway, what do you want to talk about next, Ryan?
I just wanted to note that Arbroath won 3-1 against FC Edinburgh, is what they're called now. But
I hate how they've rebranded. Their badge is terrible as well.
that was partially
They
why
didn't even
I
have
put this
fans.
in. I just wanted to be annoyed about them being FC Edinburgh. I understand. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure it's to do with like they didn't have rights to
Getting
Edinburgh
promoted
City.
and stuff.
Yeah,
Oh, did they not?
I don't think they had the rights to the stuff that they needed.
Didn't have to change their badge though, because their badge was smashing, and now it is frankly terrible.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say that Bobby Lynn is like 67 years old, and he scored a screamer. I just wanted to mention that.
65.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
No, to be fair,
I was going to say also
Um,
David Marshall's a few years off his bus pass. Bobby Lynn's had it for several now.
well, he'll need it. To be fair, we all love Arbroath.
Oh yeah.
All big fans of the club. We've
Until
all
they
seen
get
Arbroath. We've all
promoted.
been to Gayfield. Well, yeah, until they take Saints' place in the top flight. Anything to add on that?
No, I just wanted to mention that Bobby Lynn's a beast of a man, and FC Edinburgh are stupid. I'll let you take away the three of you, because this is where it gets heated. Queen of the South 2, St Johnstone 2, they lost. St Johnstone lost 4-2 on penalties. Take it away.
Well, none of us went to the game because me and Caden were meant to go, and our Uncle John, well, my Uncle John, who's definitely listening to this, thank God, was busy and had to cancel. So I ended up not going. I was at a family event getting frankly drunk, and saw that we were 1-0 down in 12 minutes, making a holy show of myself for the rest of the night, and didn't realise that we actually lost on penalties. Quite embarrassing, to be honest, but unsurprising. Could be us out the cup at the first hurdle, which is quite embarrassing once again.
Quite frankly, horrendous. But that's
One positive, however, was new signing Jamie Murphy.
an excellent double.
Yes.
But
So
I
he got
both
both
Darwin.
goals.
Take it away.
I was going to say thank goodness
I've
I
been
didn't want to
preparing
talk
for
about
this
that game.
one, Jason. Me and Sam have been preparing for this one. So Murphy is 32. He's a winger. He's got 2 Scotland caps. So a promising signing. He's not too old yet. And both the goals, they look decent. And Saints did lack someone up front, or just someone to get goals in at
Need
all
that attacking
last season.
inspiration. Like, we didn't create chances last season, and Murphy already has shown that he's on the front foot and he's going to drive at defences. As you were saying, it's a 1-year deal with a possible extension, which is because he's quite injury prone and you don't really want to take that risk, because I remember he was quite good for Rangers, but always injured.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's quite a positive signing, don't you think?
I'd say so.
Absolutely. As someone that can find the back of the net without Callum Hendry, we're lacking that, so can't go wrong.
Don't remind me. Well, on the theme of strikers, Theo Bear, he's not scored yet, but apparently the club were told by Nick Dazovic when he signed that he would take a lot of time to bed in. So hopefully eventually
There's
turns. I quite like him. He's a nice guy. He gave my dad a tip when he had him in his taxi. Asked him if he supported Celtic or Rangers, which infuriated him, but otherwise quite funny. Now this is the big question: Callum Davison in or Callum Davidson out? I'll let Arwen go first, because I know you're quite on the fence on this one.
Well, last season I was getting quite annoyed at everyone, Ryan, just saying, "Oh, Callum needs to go. He needs to go." I was getting quite annoyed at that, because when Tommy Wright was at the club, he was a legend. Let's make a Tommy Wright stand. Let's do all this. And then Callum comes and basically doubles the success. And so you can't take that away from him, to be fair. But last season, tried to forget about it. This season, only a few games in, looks like it's going the same way. And I'm not in for another season of that. So I'm very much on the fence. I see both sides. I see that Callum's done well for the club, but I also can see that that might not be working at the moment. So
See,
I'm on the fence with that one, I'm afraid.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm also quite on the fence. So this is a very exciting podcast. We're going to have one person very strongly opinionated and three boring Saints fans. But basically, for me, you cannot knock his achievements for a club. People were saying when he won the double that he's probably the best ever Saint, in quotation marks. You know, assistant manager when we won the double, our record sale. Sorry, when we won the double. Assistant manager when we won the Scottish Cup. Manager when we won the double. Just generally, like, I mean, what an achievement that is. Even taking a draw at Galatasaray, and he put a real sense of pride back into Saints. Just as towards the end of Tommy Wright's reign, it was kind of, I'm not gonna lie, it was a bit depressing. I mean, I had a season ticket because I'm stupid, but it was really depressing towards the end of his reign. I never want to see someone get sacked unless it's an opposition manager, David Martindale. But otherwise, I don't really. Thanks, Katie. Well covered. So otherwise, I don't really like to see him get sacked, especially from my own club. However, it almost feels like if these results keep coming, he promised in the summer that there would be more flexibility. He would improve the squad. He would bring a new goalie in. He's done none of them. The team look abject of any creativity. There's no structure. There's no intensity. I think maybe he should go. But I feel like he's coming to a natural end of his St Johnstone career. And I do feel a bit sorry for him, because it is hard to go from such highs to such lows. I mean, he has, fun fact, from the Scottish Cup final, the only player who's currently available for selection is Murray Davidson. Everyone else has been sold or is injured. So he has had his squad ripped from under him. However, it's his job to replace those players. And unfortunately, his signings have been mediocre at best, with a lot of them already out the door. I think we signed 18 players last season and 11 of them have gone already. So it feels like a high turnover, a lot of stabs in the dark, desperate business, and not good business. Actually, I think it was 19 signings last season, which is ridiculous, frankly. No top flight club can operate on that kind of turnover. And I don't see Saints being a top flight club if they stick with him beyond January time, to be honest. And they need to act sooner rather than later.
Aidan, I'll let you speak before I speak.
Well, obviously, as a Saints fan, I am a huge fan of Callum Davison and his achievements for the club. You know, you can't win a cup double with a club and the fans not like you and have a special place for you in their heart. Like, he will always be that manager that gave us a cup double. And I would be buzzing. I would be absolutely elated if he managed to turn it round and get himself out of the hole he's in and take the club back to what they've been in the past, you know, fighting top six, fighting for European places. But if it's one of those where I think we give him till January, and if he can't turn it round, we've got to cut him. As much as that hurts me to say, we've got to cut him.
I have to say, it's the recruitment that's really bothered me. I know Arwen was talking about how she does not like Elliot Parish. I'll let you go on to that in a second. But the recruitment's been dismal, like really frustrating, really bad. And if you cannot replace the players you lose, you are never going to be a successful team in the future. And I hate the argument of, we just did it with Tommy Wright's squad. Tommy Wright wouldn't have won the double with that squad. So that's irrelevant. Any manager does anything. That's like saying Tommy Wright won it with Steve Lomas's squad. No, he didn't. So it is. I think that point's ridiculous. However, he did have the benefit of the club having a youthful squad. We had one of the lowest average ages in the entire league when we won the double, and now we've got the highest.
Or when you don't like Elliot Parish.
I've got her a mug with Elliot Parish's
Who
face on
does?
as well. But no, you were.
Yeah.
My dad also doesn't like Elliot Parish.
No, whole family hatred towards the man. Not as a person. As a person, I'm sure he's lovely, but on the pitch, I look back and I reminisce over the days when we had Manis and goals and Sandra on the bench, and now we have just Elliot Parish.
And we've not even brought anyone in. I love Elliot Parish, but he's not a starting goalie.
There hasn't even been rumours of people, serious rumours, that are going to get brought into the club. Callum doesn't really seem to see the issue with having Elliot Parish on as the first string goalie for a whole season. And that just spells out championship, just to me.
Surely.
I mean, Matt Macy was linked, but we couldn't afford his wages compared to Luton. And it was he's not even that good, to be honest with you. And then we've also brought in, we're trying to bring in Kilmarnock's backup goalie.
But, like, surely at this point, right?
Right.
A thing about Kilmarnock's backup goalie, he was actually meant to be brought in as their first choice. But I cannot think of the boy's name that did end up being their first choice. Zach Hemmings, who brought on one from Middlesbrough, and he was a wonder kid. He ended up being excellent. So he was their backup, but he was
in the championship though
as a first choice.
A first choice championship goalie still isn't great.
But I think it's one of those where they brought him in and they were vying for promotion. So you'd have to give him a chance.
I would never sign someone and go, he's rubbish, I hate this signing, just because you can't do that, Saint, so you'd be here all day. It'd be a miserable existence. Like we signed Graham Carey and Andy Considine and players like that, who some may said was over the hill. I say give him a chance.
I say Considine's looked excellent.
There you go.
Ryan.
Surely on your whole goalkeeper
Ryan as a sort of.
You have Ross Sinclair sitting on the bench.
Yeah, but he's not. He's had so many wrist injuries as well.
Okay, but he's not injured now.
Development's been no. But what I mean is his development's been halted. Apparently, I mean I've not seen him play.
He's still playing for Scotland under 21s. He's still playing.
Yes, but I think he needs.
Yeah, I get.
I'll never convince you, but I feel like he needs more game time. He needs a loan move, which is what they're trying to do.
I agree with that, but Elliot Parish is having such a torrid time.
He's never going to improve. I see what you mean.
Yeah,
like Sinclair will.
Sinclair might get in there and just click. That's it. He's like his mind just takes him to the next level.
Think about the abuse that Elliot Parish is getting. Do you know if Sinclair had the same performance and got the same abuse, that could really hamper his career at such a young age? You're putting him in the firing line.
That's true, but then when you've got Melier, who's on the Premier League at 21 or something like that, and the goals for.
It's a bit different though. They paid a lot of money for him because he was a proven goalkeeper.
I guess. No, you are right. But I just think that age. You can't take a risk on they'll get hate because they're young age when they're professional footballer.
Don't get me wrong. I would have played him in friendlies.
Yes,
but
definitely.
Callum clearly. Come on, he would play him if he thought he was good enough, I think is the issue. It's not like he's going to have a vendetta against him.
No, of course. Yeah, that's true.
He also recently added me back on Facebook, so I'm a big fan.
I mean, Callum Davison definitely has his favourites, though. So even if a player's maybe better, it doesn't mean he'll swap.
Not being funny, Elliot Parish is not one of his favourites.
I know, but
sure. He's a lovely guy. Smashing, apparently.
Oh, apparently, yeah. I'm sure he is great.
Ryan, would you like to give us your opinion on Cam Davidson? I like to turn the volume down.
Since about October last
year. No,
year.
you said November.
Okay, fair enough.
I've
been Callum Davison out for a very long time, and especially so when I drove you both to that Celtic game, and I came along like, yeah, I'll go see Saints play Kelly. I'm the resident Perthshire glory hunter and support Rangers. I'll go support Saints. Fuck it. That was the worst 3 hours of my life. I will never get that time back.
You had great company along with you.
No, it was delightful getting to know you, Caden, and spending more time with you, Samuel. But they didn't have a hot dog. It was shit weather. My back was sore. My legs were sore. And I watched you concede an extra time. It was. I didn't even get the graciousness of losing on pens. It was terrible.
To be fair, that was dreadful. I got COVID from that game, as I mention every time, just to compound my misery. We had that McDonald's afterwards, which was the most depressing meal of my life. That
had a great time for the 120 minutes. It was excellent.
Before the game, until the game happened, I was having a great time.
Yeah, it was delightful.
So
even when the game started and we were beside the ultras and stuff, that was fun. Couldn't see how.
I was eating my pie. I was doing away. I was fine. I was loving it. And then the whistle went, and he's happy.
Well, to be fair, we absolutely battered them first half, and then after that it was a bit depressing. I remember Caden absolutely scalping the gate of a wall with his hand.
I make no comment towards that whatsoever. I would like to briskly move on.
Well, moving on. Let's get an answer each. Callum Davison, in or out? Ryan?
Out.
In for the now and try and let him turn it around till January. Then we'll see where we
go. The hokey cokey, in or out?
I'm just because we're on Ryan. In. Go on, Ed. Let's go. Let's have it.
Arwen?
In for the
Right, well, just to balance it out. No, I'm only joking. I want to annoy Ryan.
Me, I said in for the moment. Just get her told, in or out.
You gave a wee spiel I couldn't be bothered listening to. Right, I'll go with in. Just to annoy Ryan.
If he's still in by January, yous are going down.
He's done a great job. If he's still in by January,
we are mid-table, if not top 6.
I know. I'm telling you, if he makes this in January, he's taking yous down. He's steering you into the ground.
But Ryan, what we're saying is, if he's made it to January,
I know that.
A cracking job.
I just don't think that.
Or Steve Brown's taking us for a ride. That's.
Wait a minute.
Moving swiftly on before we offend
Get my mum sacked or something.
We all support. Yep. Good job, Ryan. So you want to talk about transfers, Ryan?
Yeah, Calvin Bassey, obviously set to be Rangers' biggest ever outlay, set to be one of Scotland's biggest ever outlays. He's going to Ajax for 22 million euros guaranteed, plus 5 million in add-ons, and then a 10% sell-on clause. You know, he's contracted until 2026. It's not been announced yet, but this is what we know about it. It's gutting as a Rangers fan to see him go, because he went from a squad player at the start of the season to a man in the match in the Europa League final and the Scottish Cup final. He's turned into a mega player. He came from Leicester for like 250k, I think we paid them. And now he's about to leave one of the biggest transfers ever for us. He gave me some of the best moments watching Rangers in recent years. But for Rangers to have this business model where we bring in players for cheap, like Joe Rebo from Charlton, and then sell him on for 6 million plus 4 to Southampton, like, we have to accept that we are never going to be the final destination for anybody. In Scotland, you're just never going to be the final destination for most players who have a high skill cap.
High ceiling.
Yeah. So it's like, it hurts to see him go, but the service he has done to Rangers in just 2 years as a full-on player for the team, and then the money he's gotten into the club after that as well, he goes down as a very special player in my heart. It's gonna hurt not seeing him at left back, and Barisic doesn't convince me anymore. I used to love him, but he doesn't convince me. But Ajax have got a player on their hands. To go from Lisandro Martinez to Bassey is maybe a bit of a skill drop in the sense that Bassey's still so young and is raw in a lot of areas. You cannot deny that of all places to go, Ajax is probably the best place to develop yourself. I just feel like it's perfect for him. And it's put Rangers in this really nice position where it's becoming clear that we are an attractive club to go to, because you know that if you come in and you're good enough, you're going to play for the first team, you're going to play in Europe, you're going to compete for trophies, and then if you're good enough, we're going to sell you on to somewhere like in a bigger league. you're going to get to a team that's going to be playing at a higher level, consistently in the league. So it's an attractive prospect for a lot of young players, which can only benefit us, as in getting quality players and also then selling them on. And, hopefully not falling into debt and ceasing to exist as a club. Because
that was quite funny, to be fair. That was good banter.
Sounds like that's speaking from experience, Ryan.
never. Yeah, I'm sad to see him go. I think that Scotland as a league have lost out on a very good player, but it's only beneficial to Scotland. Like we've said before, it's leagues like Serie A and that need to be taking notice of players in the Premiership, because there are these players that have that kind of talent behind them.
I'd be interested to see the last time Ajax actually signed a player from the Scottish Premiership, to be honest. It's a really intriguing move, Like, I feel like it's a signing that works out for all parties. Rangers get an incredible fee for him. Like, not being funny, he was good, but that is way worth your money. Oh, yeah. Ajax get a good, solid replacement for Lisandro Martinez, and it's one that will work for him in the future. And, I mean, he's a brilliant player. You got 2 years out of service, 2 years service out of him. You got a Scottish Cup and a league win in that time. You're first of both, so it must be smashing to really get that ticked off the bucket list.
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant to be fair.
It's going to be good for him. I do see it being very, very, very positive. He's only 22, I'm pretty sure. And if you think the quality really he's playing at 22, and going to Ajax, that are really known for turning young players into literal beasts. I think we're going to be seeing him go for a big move somewhere soon if he continues at this rate of development. Sure.
Certainly. He'll get Champions League experience this season. Yes. Most likely with Ajax. So even better. Well, it's a great deal for Rangers, because £25 million, that means that you can almost afford to miss out on the Champions League financially.
Yeah.
Obviously you don't want to, but it covers that gap between Champions League and Europa League. But I think that's all you can really say about him, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sad he's gone, but delighted what it's done for the club.
Exactly. Well, I'm going to go with the next. It's not a signing, but it's a rumour. Hearts have been linked with Lawrence Shankland. He signed for Beer Shot back in from Dundee United for £1 million. And in his first full season at the club, they finished dead last in the Belgian Pro League on 16 points, winning just 4 games.
Oh, that's brutal.
Not great.
So that does mean they also drew 4. So.
Yeah, and you can add up how many games they lost, Caden.
So, I really don't want to, if I'm honest.
So Shankland scored 4 goals and grabbed 4 assists in 27 games for Bear Shot. He was generally okay, but you just couldn't turn the tide against relegation. They were really, really below par and finished dead last. Hearts are interested in him for apparently a quoted figure of £500,000. So they're already willing to take a $500k loss on one of their prize assets, but that's a great deal for Hearts to give over the line. I mean, he'd provide competition for Liam Boyce. I mean, they need that, and they're fighting on all fronts in Europe as well. And I mean, he's already got 4 Scotland caps. Why couldn't he add to that? It's a good move all round, I think.
Yeah, it creates such good depth for Hearts, especially going into Europe and wanting to give a good account of themselves in the league again. This just seems like the perfect move for Shankland and Hearts. It makes so much sense.
I don't really rate him, but for some reason, I feel like he'd do absolutely amazing for Hearts.
I completely agree.
Also, Robbie Nielsen's a manager that obviously managed Dundee United when he was there and when he had his breakout season. So, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what happens with that, because while I didn't necessarily think he was worth the money he went for, you're right, at Hearts it just makes sense and it's quite exciting. I'd like to see him back in the league just to be in a good quality team like that. You never know, it might just start to click fully and see Hearts actually win their Scottish Cup like I predicted in last episode. If you haven't listened to it, check it out.
Good plug.
Oh, excellent plug. Didn't stumble over my words at all.
Seamless.
which is now on Podcast Addict as well. I had all other streaming services.
You can find us
Thank you.
so many platforms. Pretty much any platform you want to listen, you can find
But
it.
if it's not on your platform, send us a message on Twitter and I will get it sorted for you
Aiden's the man
as soon
for
as
that.
possible.
Caden, did you have something to mention while on Belgium?
Nah, not anymore. It's changed.
Oh, you've changed. Never mind. You two will find it later.
You'll have to wait and see later in the episode.
Ooh,
I'm excited now.
sprinkling of excitement.
Well, we'll take a wee intermission here, and Caden, you can announce the Jaffa Cake vote.
So, our Jaffa Cake vote on Twitter. Thank you for everyone that voted. It means a lot.
Hashtag cake or a biscuit.
Hashtag cake or a biscuit. It landed at 50% each. So I'm going to say it just because the legal team said it was a cake. It's a damn biscuit. It's a biscuit of the people, the working class. There we go.
I got well, I'm not sure where my phone is because I got a text from my brother who had been listening to the episode, and he was a connoisseur of Jaffa cakes when I was younger. He was a big fan, and I just don't like Jaffa cakes. I don't like chocolate orange. He texted me. Right. He went, "Jaffa cakes is a cake, you silly boy." And I went, legally defined as a biscuit. Well, when a biscuit goes...
it's legally defined as a cake.
No, it's legally defined as a cake.
Is it a cake?
Sorry, that's what I meant.
Fuck, I messed it up. Anyway, he went, when a biscuit goes stale, it goes soft. But when a cake goes hard... but a cake goes hard when it's stale. He's like, Jaffa cakes go hard, argument over. And I said, upon some pondering... Upon some pondering,
science to the team.
I've decided to change my mind to cake in the next episode.
Cake?
I think it's cake.
You know what? Sam has tied this up and put a pretty wee bow on it. That is...
Let's have a vote each. Cake or biscuit? Farman.
Oh, I'm saying cake.
Yep, Caden.
You know what? I'm gonna go last just to make sure I'm doing this right.
I'll go with cake. Caden?
You know what? For all my Rangers fans out there, it is a biscuit of the working class. We are the people. Come on.
Fucking idiot.
Samuel has left. You know what? I've got every Rangers fan with me now and every Celtic fan against me. So that's
right. You don't have to talk some pish. On to Ben Davies, Caden. Back to Rangers. Oh, you know, we never stay far away.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
We don't.
No surrender. Ben Davies, not the Welshman, as everybody seems to think it is. It's Ben Davies that was bought from Preston North End, I believe, by Liverpool when they were having a bit of their centre-back crisis. He never featured in the league for them, I don't believe, and they ended up going on loan to Sheffield United last season. He played 21 times in the promotion bid from the Championship, and Rangers have decided to pay £3 million up front plus £1 million in add-ons. It came out of the blue. I did not expect it. I was not anticipating us going for another centre-back when I assumed that by letting go of Leon Balogun, we were going to put Leon King into that gap that was missing. It seems now that Ben Davies is the man to plug that hole, and maybe to what I was thinking about today was kind of give a bit of consistency in the hope that if John Souttar does have injury setbacks like is expected, we probably do expect him to be on the injury table a fair few times, we will have the consistency between Connor Goldson and Ben Davies. I don't know if this will work. I mean, £4 million, it's not a cheap amount of money for a player in Scotland. I'm excited. I don't think it's a bad move by any meaning of it, because Liverpool bought him for a reason. Granted, he didn't play, but they bought him because they saw something, which is good enough for me, and he played half decent last season. But I just wanted to note it down as just a surprising transfer. I wasn't really expecting this one.
For me, is he not going to cover the hole left by Bassey at left centre back?
I wasn't sure because obviously Bassey didn't play, so I guess
around it one time.
The idea could be, in fairness, that left centre back role, because we know that Gio does kind of have this dynamic where it's a 4 at the back, then suddenly it's 3 at the back with wing backs, and you'll see mid game that kind of shifts and changes, because you would get John Lundstrom, who's playing in the midfield, brought back into a back 3. So it could play perfectly into Gio's system that he's looking for. One thing that I also want to note is that he is another player that has joined Rangers this season that on record has rejected Celtic. So, just what being Europa League runner-up does.
Well, Ryan, to keep the Rangers team going, because we apparently can't get enough of them, Mark Tillman. Tell us who he is.
Pretty sure his name's Malik Tillman, not Mark Tillman.
It certainly is Malik. Mark's his brother that lives in England and is a brickie. Lucy lives off Carlin and Port Pies. Oh no, I'm gone. Our resident football expert, Samuel, everybody.
Me and Caden were just saying this podcast would crumble without Samuel here to add the finishing touches.
You know what? Leave it on Twitter if you want a me and Ryan special, and we'll just chat up our bollocks for an hour.
You'll just get an insight into our minds. Malik Tillman is currently a Bayern Munich player.
Mark Tillman's an actor.
Oh no!
He was in Highlander.
Oh,
Good movie, to be fair.
That's a quite good movie, yeah.
And MacGyver. I am awfully embarrassed, in all honesty.
Well,
Sorry,
Malik Tillman. He is a Bayern player. He's went on loan to Rangers with the option to buy. From what I understand, he's pretty highly thought of. He's only 20 years old. He only made 4 appearances for Bayern in the league last season, only amounted to about 102 minutes, but he did make his debut in the Champions League against Barcelona in December. He fits that attacking midfielder role that Rangers are they were kind of stuck on since my roommate just shouted so loud. Joe Rebo's kind of skipped out on. No. So the loss of
no, it was Mark Tillman.
Shut up, Jesus.
So the loss of Joe Rebo has been quite notable. Obviously, we've lost out on a pretty dynamic player, a player that could play most places across that attacking midfield up area. You could really put him in any of those, and with Hadji being out until what looks like to be October, November at the very earliest, bringing in somebody who could play in an attacking midfield role to kind of pair with Lowry, who's probably gonna take his step up into the first team properly next season as well, just makes sense. I'm pretty confident, but you never know. He's kind of untested. He's never really gone a good go at first team football. He's quite good for Bayern Munich too, but that only goes so far playing for a B team and in the third division of Germany. If he is good, we get nobody else can buy him unless we directly reject him first. So I feel it's a pretty good opportunity to get who is he's a United States international player. He's highly thought of, like I said. So this could be a really good one, or it could be another Amad Diallo that never really gets going.
He's a good player, Diallo.
Diallo was really good towards the tail end of that season. He did start to pick it up, and he was a good player in the Scottish Cup final. He didn't get used to the physicality of Scotland fast enough.
Yeah.
I think if he was an 18-month loan, Diallo would be a very good player for us next season. But that's not.
That's another reason why Scottish football deserves more respect, which you can get on the website now.
Well, there we go. I've just put my tally mark for number 2 of the plug of that.
We love that. We love the article, man.
On from Malik Tillman. Caden, you've got someone to talk about who's signing for Ross County.
Yes, William Akio. Yeah,
William Akio.
He is a right winger from Vancouver. My apologies, not Vancouver, Valor FC.
I was about to say, not Vancouver. Don't think so.
I was going to say, no. He's a Canadian citizen. I don't know why I thought Vancouver. I was thinking Vancouver Whitecaps with Theo Bear. That's what I want.
That's just as bad as Mark Tillman.
I don't know.
Mark Tillman was bad,
at least Theo Bear's a footballer. Mark Tillman's a casting director. So... He was a casting director for it, actually. Smashing film. No, so we've got William Akio, who is a right winger coming into Valor FC. It's not. It's an undisclosed fee as of so far, but I'm imagining it's probably about £50,000 to £100,000.
Is that based on your sources at Ross County?
No, that's based on his transfer value on Transfermarkt. So I wouldn't imagine. I wouldn't see Ross County paying any more for it.
Elliot Parish is worth €230,000, so I feel like Transfermarkt value is probably something that shouldn't be paid attention.
Yes, probably not, but we'll fire
because he's worth way more than that.
Of course, he's worth at least $5 million.
So, but why have they signed him, Caden?
But no, I can see him being a replacement for Blair Spittle, one of their key players of last season, one of their big three. So, I mean, although William Akio is not greatly tested, only playing 12 games and scoring 2 goals for Valor last season, it is one of those players, they've got to see something in him to bring him in. I don't think they just bring him in for the sake of him being a right winger. So it'll be very interesting to see if he does take up the mantle of Blair Spittle. But
it's interesting how they scout players, Ross County, and they seem to get it bang on more times than they miss. So I'm interested to see how he gets on. Caden, we're going to stick with you.
Sticking with me, Christ, that's never a good sign.
Now, this is our resident Aberdeen expert.
Thank you. I don't want that title ever, but
it's going to stick.
But no, we're moving on to Aberdeen's newest signing, Luis Lopez, which his nickname is Duck. Don't ask me why. I do not know.
D-U-K
Duck is what we're going to go for. So it's been estimated that he'll be going for about £470,000, which I can only imagine is Calvin Ramsey money.
Or Lewis Ferguson money.
Or Lewis Ferguson money. Christ, they've got a pretty wee kitty going at Aberdeen. But no, he scored 8 goals in 20 games for Benfica B, and they've managed to get him on a 3-year deal. So if he turns out, he'll turn out very well, I imagine. He seems like a fairly accomplished centre forward, so it'll be an interesting to see how he turns out. He's also made.
Portugal does seem to have like a good track record of outlaying these young players. They're not necessarily maybe like the best world beaters, but I feel like in recent years Portugal have been pretty good at, just generally Portuguese teams have been pretty good at getting these youth players that maybe aren't quite cut out for their top level teams, but can be shipped off elsewhere and provide some sort of quality. Well, even at a higher level, you look at Jota. Jota's went to Celtic and has set the world alight. He's outstanding for them. So I agree that if Aberdeen have nailed it with this one, and they've spent a decent fee on him, I'm sure what you were about to say before I interrupted you was that he'd gotten 8 goals in 20 games for Benfica B. So
you already said that if you were listening.
Oh,
it was actually 1 cap for Cape Verde.
So I wasn't listening. I'm sorry.
Because they have an excellent flag. But speaking about Luis Lopez and his nickname Duck, that brings me on to the question of the week. Hey! Duck, may I say, is the national dish of China. So everyone, what is your favourite meal for the Chinese?
What was
Ryan,
the national dish?
Take us away.
What
favourite
did you
meal
say?
For the Chinese.
What was the national dish?
Chinese
national dish is Peking Duck. A tenuous link, I know. But you know what? I've got to do what I've got to do. That's what I'm here for. Tenuous links.
That's outstanding.
And waffle while Samuel has a drink of water.
Oh my god, that's so fucking funny.
Ryan, please take us away. What do you get for the Chinese?
Well, recently, right? I'm very basic Chinese man. I'm not a big takeaway man, but I normally just get get chicken curry and rice. But the last time, me and my girlfriend, there's a Chinese in the small village that she lives outside of, and they've just opened, and they had honey fried chicken wings.
Lovely.
So I tried them out. They were really fucking good. You never know. I might be a chicken wing man from the Chinese from now on.
I go one better. I go for something quite exotic. It's not native to the land of China. Fish. And it's chips.
You know what? That's just as British as Mark Tillman. Arwen, take it away.
I actually My favourite thing isn't actually a dish; it's a side. And I would say prawn crackers make the
That is
meal.
a shout. That is
That's
a shout.
true.
You quite
good
like
stuff.
you quite like octopus at the Chinese.
No, squid.
Squid. Oh,
Ugh.
I've ruined it.
I didn't like that.
Well, do you not go for a wee bit of calamari, you know?
No.
I don't like the
Deep fried?
texture.
No,
it's like rubber.
it's a bit rubbery, yeah.
Yeah.
But no,
Well,
let us know on all
brilliant.
social platforms what you get from the Chinese, and
Put a
we'll
little bit of rice in your prawn cracker when you eat it.
curry
Exceptional.
sauce.
Yeah, exceptional.
I was going to say, and whoever
You
has
gotta
the
eat it
best
plain.
Chinese order on Twitter, Instagram, or whatever social platform you like, their order will be mentioned on the next podcast.
I can't believe you've just said prawn crackers are better off plain. Are you psychotic?
That is vile. That is.
You know what I have to say though
minority.
about prawn crackers, right?
This is a red flag.
See, but the issue you get with like quavers every so often, you get with prawn crackers, where you bite into one and it's a wee bit stale or a wee bit off.
It's a bit off.
Yeah, and you just right back out the mouth.
Keep eating.
Aye, that's what you get for the Kunsel quavers. Cheese fine. They're my go-to as well. You're on a cheese curls for Aldi.
Oh, Aldi's one. Yes, I've got that.
Right, okay. Well, now that I've took us our podcastly detour down the food aisle, where are we on to now?
Dylan Reid turning down Celtic. Any takers, or would you like me to do this one?
You've got to. I have no idea about this.
Mr. FIFA, take it away.
Well, Dylan Reid, he's a 17-year-old at St Mirren, and he has rejected a move to Celtic to continue his development in Paisley, which the club have announced. There were links with him last week, and the Daily Record even did a post how Dylan Reid will fit in at Celtic. Well, that's turned out pretty funnily. No, so they said yes. They said you can speak to him, whatever, and he turned them down because he wants to continue his football development in Paisley. He's only 17. He's a Scotland under-17s international and has made 5 appearances for the club. The thing for me is, I think it's a really positive step.
Yeah.
He could have taken the money, but instead he's choosing to develop himself and become a better footballer first because he's not ready for a move. That can only be a positive thing.
Yeah, it's so bold to make a decision like that at such a young age, to be like, I'm not going to go to one of the biggest clubs in
I'd
Scotland.
take the money.
Yeah, like
You've got a back
Roman
for that.
He clearly sees a future for himself as at least the start of his career as a St Mirren player. He probably sees a path, and like it says that he's made 5 appearances for the club already. He's surely looking at it as, is he going to make a senior appearance for Celtic any time in the next 4 years, up to the age of 21? Maybe not super likely with the talent
Probably
that's
not.
sitting in front of you.
He would have been in Celtic B, you would imagine.
Yeah, exactly. And if you get the opportunity to play senior football in the Premiership, it makes sense to take it. It's a hard decision to make for sure, because one of the big 2 clubs comes to you. How do you say no? I wouldn't. At 17, I'd be like, fuck yeah, pay me $2,000 a week. I'll do it. But
exactly, I'd sit on the bench.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I first heard of him, like, it would have been last season, and there was a lot of news coverage around him because he was 16 at the time, sitting his hires and having to miss out games for exams. And despite all the football training and everything, I think he still managed to get 4 A's and a B in his hires.
Well, Ryan, me and you will just leave on that one.
I didn't do anything with my life, and I still ended up with 3 C's and a B.
Exactly, so he must be doing something right. So
he seems like a pretty motivated
kid.
He's an intelligent young man.
A determined, motivated young man.
Anyone who got 4 A's and a B at higher would be intelligent. Unfortunately, I got 3 A's and 2 B's.
Oh, fortunate. A kid in my school got 6 A's in 5th year.
My brother.
Of course he did. On to the
and
last.
And 5 he did in his own time. Anyway, so
yeah. On to the last little bit. Just something I wanted to quickly note is the SWPL have signed their first ever football deal with, I can't say, Mitre? Like
Mitre.
Is it Mitre?
One, have you ever been punted off your leg?
No, yeah, of course, but I always say it wrong.
Rip the bits off the back of your calf. That's
I get corrected every time.
And
I just want to note that it's a really good step for women's football. It's a really good step for women's football to get this deal. I just thought it was about time, to be honest. The women's game is getting a lot of attention in England specifically, so we need to start trying to elevate ours as well. I'm happy to see that they're taking steps.
Next season, this season and next season are going to be quite interesting because in the women's game, the three main teams are Glasgow City, Rangers, and Celtic. And up until now, it's been Glasgow City dominating the silverware. They've won the most Scottish Cups, most titles since 2000, almost unbeaten. But last season, that was sort of scuppered by Celtic, who won both. So it's interesting to see, are they catching up? Are the two ugly sisters of Scottish football taking over the women's game as well?
Hopefully not.
I feel
We're just going to have to wait and see.
The reality is that the Rangers and Celtic, they're going to have the money that filters in from the men's team naturally. So I feel like now that they're dedicating more time to it, like you saw, I'm pretty sure Rangers went undefeated last season, was it not? In the league to win it. And I feel like that's just the nature of those players are going to get paid more. They're going to get paid more than Glasgow City have been in the top for so long. But there's only so much money they can make by being at the top. It's not like the men's game where that money really can cement you there and keep you there for a long time. I think it is a sad reality that Rangers and Celtic are going to start to take over that league a wee bit, and hopefully with where we're at with the women's game in Scotland, that enough money can come in consistently to at least keep it competitive in some sort of manner.
I have to admit, I do quite like
definitely
there being a community
exciting.
title race.
It is exciting. I don't
Very
believe
exciting league. They've also, I was just going to quickly say, Mitre have pledged £100,000 worth of stock to the women's game for next year, like of balls.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I was meant to say that. Thanks, Samuel.
That's why I'm here.
This is a
Breakaway podcast.
Yeah, that's been an interesting podcast. It took us about 45 minutes to actually get going. A lot of back and forth.
Ian Caden were here and ready to come.
As they say, we've been ready, primed and prepped.
It was those two.
The absolute disgrace. I had a late takeaway and I was still here on time. Anyway, thank you so much for you guys being
That
here.
felt targeted.
And thank you for listening. Remember to follow us on Twitter. Remember to check out the website. This is going to be the first video one that we put out, assuming that everything looks good in the edit. So if you're interested in that'll be on our YouTube channel, just Total Scottish Football. There'll be a link in the description as well. But yeah, thank you very much for listening. See you next time.
And remember, guys, hashtag what is your Chinese?
Bye.
Bye bye.
Cheers.